Hey there, Scorpio. It's Wes with Aurawest Tarot, and today we're going to be doing your bi-weekly December reading. So this will cover the 21st through the 1st of January. I apologize, it's a little late. I'm trying to catch up on everything. Just a constant catch-up game. But rest assured, it'll be a pretty good reading, I think. For this reading, we're going to be doing the pre-read advice, which is going to be through the dreams of Gaia. It's one card that I pulled that's just going to basically help navigate through your Celtic Cross, which is going to be the main feature of this video. You can go to the comment section down below where I'll post the timestamps. If you so choose not to want to watch the advice, you don't have to. You can just go straight to the Celtic Cross. That's okay. But the point of the advice is just to simply give you advice through the 21st through the 1st of January. Okay. Lastly, if you would like to donate to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. There is a donation link in the drop-down tab of this video in the About Me section. It would really help the channel and it really help me. And also, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video if you enjoy the content. I'd really appreciate it. There's a lot of views on these videos, but not many subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to really help the channel grow. And also a thumbs up. It's a small task for you, but it really helps my video to grow and helps the channel grow and get to more eyeballs on YouTube. So I'd really appreciate that. We do have some candles here. I'm going to go a little easy on the incense because it's some kind of, like incensed up like constantly, and it's just a little bit overwhelming. So I'm going to take a day off from the incense. But as much as I do like it, but it's a little cold right now, and I'm keeping the window closed because I don't want noises and interruptions. I don't know if it's really good to be inhaling that smoke all the time. So let's get started. So Scorpio. Alright, what do we got for Scorpio? I've already shuffled all the cards. I'll be using the Gilded Tarot Royale for my main deck and in the standard version for the clarifications. Just so you know. And I've already shuffled this a million times, so pick one. Alright, so let's see what you got. Give me a moment. Interesting. Okay, so you got 5 of water. So essentially it's probably going to be if I'm... everything here is in this particular deck is a little bit different to how standard tarot is. Obviously cups I think is referred to as water. Basically same thing. But it's, let's see here. Let's see what we got. So I kind of have a mental idea on what this is going to imply. Yeah, pretty much the same as 5 cups. So, essentially 5 of cups, Scorpio. Should be fitting for a water sign because it's water energy. Okay. So I did pick it upright, so I'll be reading the upright meaning. So the key words of this card is loss, betrayal, fear, doubt, hopelessness, isolation, self-pity, and blame. Meaning. The 5 of water represents feeling of fear, doubt, and hopelessness that can cloud our minds and hearts and give rise to confusion, misunderstandings, and anger. These emotions are often born of our own pain and insecurities and can cloud our ability to see the love that surrounds us. All too often we experience a moment of great hurt or loss. We can feel alone, as if no one could possibly understand the depth of anguish we are feeling. Whether it be the end of a marriage or a friendship, the death of a loved one, or a battle with mental illness, we sometimes find ourselves weighed down by pain and suffering and blind to the beauty and love that surrounds us. Loss of any kind causes us to experience a range of emotions including sadness, fear, confusion, guilt, regret, anger, and betrayal. Sometimes we can even experience a complete absence of emotion. To think of the future serves only to add to the burden of sorrow because all hope seems to be gone. The 5 of water is a challenging card because it is not one that offers any real comfort. Loss is something we all experience, and we are already vulnerable, and sensitive to hurt, then it can be overwhelming. The death of a loved one, the loss of a friend, being betrayed by someone we trusted and loved. There are no words of comfort that will lessen the pain we feel. The 5 of water symbolizes the need to allow yourself to work through your grief and to take as much time as you need. Allow the emotions to flow and flow along with them, but not to the extent that they threaten to overwhelm you or have you lashing out to others. You need to remember that you have people around you who love you, look up to you. While you feel alone, you are not. There are people around you who also have experienced loss. They know, they understand. Allow them to be there for you in your time of need. Interesting. I think I can relate to that card too. I'm an Aquarius sun. Very cool, very cool. Alright, let's get your Celtic Cross, Scorpio. Excuse me. Alright, can we get a Celtic Cross, please? From the zodiac sign of Scorpio. 10 cards total. 10 cards describing the situation, challenge, beliefs, root of the issue, near past, near future, self-perception, outside influences, aka how other people see Scorpio, action advice, and likely outcome. Please. 10 cards total. First Celtic Cross standard. Clarify Magician in reverse as the root of the issue. Why is that there for Scorpio? Why is the Magician in reverse the root of the issue? Clarify Temperance upright. For Scorpio's beliefs, please. Clarify Wheel of Fortune for near future. First zodiac sign of Scorpio. Clarify Ace of Swords in reverse for action option. Clarify one more for Ace of Swords in reverse for action outcome. Why is that then? Clarify 8 of Pentacles in reverse for the likely outcome of Scorpio, please. Can I clarify the 8 of Pentacles reverse? One more card, please. Okay. Alright, Scorpio, so you have basically for situation is Ace of Wands. Universe is essentially putting some type of offer in front of your hands. This can come in a lot of different ways. When we say offer, it's not necessarily somebody offering it you. It can really show up in many, just about any way. That means it could be an idea that's coming to your head. It could be something you just thought of. It could be somebody that's proposing something to you. It could be a suggestion. It could be something that you saw on the internet. It doesn't really matter. There's a lot of different things. It's just, the manifestation's going through your mind. But it's the desire, essentially, to take action onto something, to do something. What that is could be a million different things. And unfortunately, the Ace of Wands doesn't tell us that. It just says that there's an opportunity there for growth and expansion, going in a new direction, Wands energy is energy. It's putting energy into something, directing it in a particular way. Challenge, however, is Six of Swords. So we're in the air energy with Six of Swords there. This suggests that, you're going through some type of turbulent times, but you are trying to move on from something. What that is, it's different for everybody. But it is suggesting that, you are basically traveling. You can notice the moon energy in the background there, suggesting that there is, to some extent, unknowns in this situation. For some of you, may not really know exactly where you're going. It's almost like drifting to some extent, but it's the intent to find something that's, more stable grounds, to, obviously establish a more stable foundation and to grow as a person. Nobody really just puts themselves through hell for no reason. They're doing it because they're intending to improve their life in some way or another. And this is what this card suggests. Saying that there may be, a lot of things that are kind of snowballing you, where you kind of feel like you're just getting hit all the time, but the intent is to basically get through it so you can get to somewhere where hopefully you don't get, snowballs thrown at you all the time. Just making that analogy because it's winter, but... Okay. For your beliefs, we have temperance here, which I find interesting because of the fact that, you're going through turbulent times, trying to navigate through life. It's almost like you're trying to solve something, and we have balance here. Temperance is like an alchemy card, so it is suggesting that you are trying to basically, it's almost like experimenting, but at the same time, there's a hint from the universe that is basically at play here. It's an angel card. If you look. Okay. But in her hand there, she does have water and fire. It's the attempt to try and mix those two things, which in the tarot world does work. We're not going to go too much into it because I don't want to make this an hour video. But it is, to some extent, trying to balance and, moderate things. If you've been on the extremes to some extent or found your life going into extremes, it is trying to correct that. And especially with the Hierophant upright, suggesting more conventional means. Something that's more grounded, more committed. It's almost this, so essentially your belief system is that this is how things need to be right now, for one reason or another. It needs to be more grounded, more balanced. And for some of you may be interested in spirituality, so some of you may be exploring your spirituality more. Okay, and for others of you, this may just be trying to basically, realize that, hey, I'm growing up and I need something more stable. Root of the issue is the Magician in reverse, and I clarified it's coming to Four of Cups. Okay. This is suggesting to some extent, Scorpio, with your root of the issue, is that, the Magician, when it's reversed, can talk about many different things. Sometimes it's bad, and sometimes it's not so bad. But it is generally not good when it's reversed. It does talk about, essentially, self-doubt. In this particular case, it's going to talk about self-doubt. Not really feeling that you have the ability to get, your ideas to really... It's almost questioning whether you can do it, but it's not from a resource standpoint. It's more like internally looking within. It's almost like a self like perception that I can't do this for one reason or another, whatever that is. Maybe your life is a little too restrictive. Looking at your beliefs, you do have kind of like a very... I'm not saying it's bad, but I mean it does seem like one would argue that it could potentially be more restrictive in some ways. If you're trying to live a very more balanced, conservative life, there are benefits to that. Generally speaking, there's more peace, there's more harmony, yes. Things seem to be more orderly. But, life does have that bad side for a reason. It's to generate spark. Kind of break the conservative norms. Without it, life would just basically bleed into stagnation. However, for some of you also, besides this, besides restrictions or anything, this could also be the internal desire and core of the issue. It could be possibly that you just are rebellious. Maybe you just find yourself, because the Magician in reverse can be that. It does talk about sometimes con artists, people trying to deceive you and stuff like that, which all kind of fall under, rebellious kind of things. And then what's interesting is it clarified as the Four of Cups, a card of I get bored, disappointment, should have, the would have, the could have. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can go with the Four of Cups. But sometimes it is just simply, besides just, kind of wishing that some situation would have gone better, it can just be simply I'm bored. I'm not happy with what I got around me. And this can all be, signs of someone that is rebellious, hence the Magician in reverse. Somebody that basically just gets really bored easily. So perhaps whatever the projects you have in front of you just aren't really interesting to you, for some of you. For others of you, it could also just be that there has been some issues in the past of just feeling like you screwed up. Sometimes, or it's just maybe you just didn't really have that encouragement to really get things off the ground. You spent more of your days trying to figure out what could have gone right, what I could have done. Because, everyone around me kind of told me that, wasn't good enough. At least that's my perception, whether that's true or not. But there is some element here, whichever way you want to spin it, there is some degree of uncertainty on the ability to really push forwards. And I think it's interesting that your challenge, speaking of that, is the Six of Swords, a card of just doing that, pushing forwards. And you've got an idea, with the Ace of Wands there, literally an opportunity of the universe, almost kind of prodding you to do that. In your recent past, we have Four of Wands in reverse, which is, once again, kind of correlating to this, because this is a card that generally talks about, is high emphasis on family here, but it is achievements and celebrations, and it is reunion, kind of like coming back to family and kind of reuniting. For some of you, it's being a bit more grounded, celebrating where you're at. If you look at the Two of Wands, it is something where it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, trying to figure out, do you have the means to basically make your idea work? Go to Three of Wands, the guy's doing it. Gaia or whatever. He's going into the plains, going to a little unknown territory, but he's expanding on his idea. And come the Four of Wands, it's basically celebration now that, that idea was, successful and things are going well. There's a lot to celebrate. So it doesn't just have to be, it can also be a card of marriage and things, but unfortunately here it's reversed. So this does suggest that things aren't going that direction. It could be a stagnation period for some of you. For others of you, it could be potential divorce. Could be a breakup. Could be family instability. Could be, even if things are going well, it may just be the desire to celebrate alone, not really share it with others. Or just find that there's roadblocks and communication might be staggered. It's hit or miss. Come near future, we do have a fated event with the Wheel of Fortune. So things are going to go in your favor. You have been manifesting something from the universe. And I clarified to it as the Moon card. This suggests that basically whatever's coming towards you, it's an unknown road. And I want to say with this Moon card, it's tied into this Ace of Wands. Yeah. I can't help but think that this looks awfully like something the universe had set up for you, Scorpio. This all basically is a push in a new direction is what I'm getting. And it's trying to basically get you to put that, flip that ignition switch. It's almost a hesitant, it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. I've never really gone in that direction before. And I think the universe is trying to shake this core belief here. But at the same time, there is going to be some fears, doubts. One has to wonder if it's coming back to this root of the issue. How do you perceive yourself is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. Let me clarify before I talk on that. I had one card drop out. The Chariot. Interesting. I'm going to take it for your Three of Pentacles reverse there. It was very weird how it dropped out like that. It's going to be suggest, Three of Pentacles, Scorpio, can be sometimes that it is a card of recognition, it is a card of teamwork, being a valuable team member, but it's reversed here. So this does talk about sometimes, I can talk about third-party situations to some extent, but in this case, it's really nothing to do with that. I think this is basically talking about possible stagnation again. And I do think it's more of an isolated energy where it's kind of like you are working with yourself. You're spending too much time trying to do things, and especially the Chariot here would suggest that you are working hard on certain things, but probably trying to not, potentially for some of you, are trying to basically keep it under the radar for any reason or not. I don't really know why. For others of you, this could be that you are basically trying to, go on an adventure alone, going into something that you've never done before. For others of you, less likely, it could just be that you are basically, with the Chariot, there's an enormous amount of push and energy into a certain direction, trying to make something happen. Belief, oftentimes there's a lot of belief behind it. A lot of drive, it's a lot of driving force behind it. But, the Three of Pentacles, like I said, it can be like a loss of feeling like you're really valued. Or the work that you're contributing is just going underlooked. Someone has to just, if you're putting a lot of work into something, or you're putting a lot of energy into something and it's not really being appreciated, that could probably sour someone a little bit. But I'm kind of coming back to, what I said earlier. I think it is basically just kind of more of an under the radar kind of situation. How others see you is the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to clarify that actually. Pretty much clarified half the reading anyway, so. Clarify the Four of Pentacles in reverse. How others see Scorpio. Why do they see Scorpio as the Four of Pentacles in reverse? I get one card here. Two of Pentacles. Oh, you got a lot of pentacle energy here, Scorpio. So a lot of you just seems around finance for some of you. Some of you, I think to some extent how I would see you is they do recognize that you are trying to work hard, Scorpio. Like for some of you, there are people that are recognizing that you are trying to balance a lot of things and handle a lot of tasks, but you are doing it effectively. But at the same time, it seems like for some of you, I'm getting a vibe of a workaholic. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse it's like one of those cards that can be bad and good. Because Four of Pentacles when it's upright does kind of like, it's more of a scarcity mindset, more of a selfish energy. Because not in a bad way, it's just that you kind of feel like you have to. Because you're trying to hold on to what you got, and that's reversed here, which can be a worsening of that. But at the same time, it can be letting it loose a little bit, trying to, loosen the reins a little bit. Perhaps realizing that you need to give a little bit more in order to receive. So, one has to ask the Two of Pentacles there, is this to some extent, look at the guy upright, right? It's reversed here. Is it almost like trying to figure out who to give to and who not to give to? Who can you give to and who can't you? Who should you give to? There's a card of, like I said, being more of a selfish energy here, and we have coincidentally the appearance of the Four of Pentacles, which is also a selfish energy when it's upright, but it's reversed here. So, but like I said, it can be worse when it's reversed. So, I'm always curious. It's like, once again, if you're flying under the radar or being very selective on who should and shouldn't get anything from you, or where are you spending your money? Where is your direction going? It seems all like almost like a direction on where I'm going, with an element of uncertainty, but at the same time, kind of knowing, but not really sure. But it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's really what I'm feeling. Action advice is the Ace of Swords in reverse, which is interesting after just talked about that kind of to yourself energy and all that kind of stuff, is also a card that can talk about that, because it's kind of like an absence almost to some extent of communication. Kind of, and the Sun in reverse, talking about, So the Sun in reverse can talk about basically, and this is the way I interpret it, is more of a loss. It can talk a little bit very similar to this Four of Cups here. It can be a little bit of disappointment, things not going well, but it also is a big part of individuality, who you are as a person. Expressing that when it's upright. The way that life is kind of set up is that ideally, if things go well, we kind of play our cards right in life. We want to be able to know who we are, what we like in life, the types of people we want to be around, the hobbies we enjoy. Ideally, you should be able to walk up to someone and, they can tell you right off the bat what their interests are, what they do for a living. Oh, I love what I do. Oh, yeah. These are my friends. These are people that'll, share very similar interests. Unfortunately, that's not how the real world works. We have a lot of people that, unfortunately, don't like the things we do. People that we surround ourselves that don't have any interest in what we're doing. There's a lot of pressures and societal norms, and I can't help with your beliefs with the Hierophant and Temperance there, if almost that's coming into question to you. But with the Ace of Swords in reverse can also talk about trying, there's a lot of things that may be hidden from sight. Not, in this case, I don't think it's intentionally. I think it's just things you're missing. And the Sun in reverse there, we've got the Magician in reverse here. There's a lot of, almost self-doubt here. But interesting enough, in your near future, we had the Wheel of Fortune, remember that? Well, when I clarified for your action advice, we also have Wheel of Fortune. How about that, Scorpio? Both upright. So this does suggest that the universe is kind of stepping in here to some extent, but at the same time, it is something that you're manifesting. And I almost want to say that it's change. Things are going to go in a different direction, and I can't help with the challenge here, being a card that pretty much talks about just that. But it doesn't say it's easy. Okay. Now for your final outcome here, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. A card that does talk about sometimes, there's a lot of negative connotations to this card, but it does talk about to some extent that if we're going to look at the lighter note in the context of this reading, it's going to basically talk about a lot of times failed ideas, things that are just not working. Energy being put into things that just aren't propelling you forward. High emphasis on financial loss. It could be just laziness in some cases, just apathy. But in this context, this guy's literally sitting under a tree. So, I don't think it's intentional though. I don't, Scorpio. I think it's just that there is an element of uncertainty on which direction to go. We've got the Moon card here, the Magician in reverse here, we've got the Sun in reverse, the Ace of Swords reversed. Yeah. So I think there's, to some extent, there's going to be a sense of apathy and stuff like that. You might have some ups and downs. And for some of you, if you are embarking on this challenge, which is suggesting that you are moving forward to something, and people say, well, what is that? I don't know. There's a million different things that could be. Could be going for a new job. That could be a challenge, for sure. What if your job requires you to go across state? A lot of you are like, well, that's not me. Well, maybe it's a relationship. I don't know. Maybe you're going through a very difficult relationship with someone. Or some of you are single. Navigating life without a partner. I haven't had one for a long time. But there's a desire and a push to basically find somebody. Well, sitting at home isn't going to get you. It's not going to get you a partner. Sometimes you do have to get off your butt and go and do something. Okay? It's different for everyone. So, you really have to kind of, these reads are kind of generalized. So you really do have to kind of apply it to some extent in your context, how it's applying to you, if you're resonating with it. But there is basically a strong sense of, I'm getting almost self-doubt, stagnation, trying to move forwards, and almost mustering, but there's a lot of contemplation at the same time. Trying to figure out, what applies to me and what doesn't. What should I harbor and what shouldn't I? And there's almost also with the Wheel of Fortune, you got double Wheel of Fortune. So things are going to spin in your favor here, Scorpio, one way or another. A lot of people think, does that mean I'm winning $1 million? No, it doesn't. It oftentimes means it means that life is throwing you an opportunity, and it's going to go in your favor, something that you've been wanting, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it falls in your lap. You have to do work. And it'll be challenging, make no mistake. Nothing comes easy with the universe. It generally, it gives you the illusion it can be easy, but really and truly requires hard work to achieve what you want. It gives you all the means to do it. But make no mistake, whether you're breaking down in tears, it's not going to throw you $1 million. So you have to do the work sometimes. And that's just life in general, to keep balance. But rest assured, the opportunity will be there, whatever you've been manifesting. But expect some delays. I think there is the Emperor and the Justice that are clarifying to this Eight of Pentacles in reverse for your outcome. So, as I kind of said, it's almost tying in with this Hierophant and Temperance energy. Almost like, a sense of... it's trying to be like moderation, fairness, balance, trying to control your environment. I don't know if some of you got hurt in the past, what the issue is, but there's a lot of control, working alone, trying to balance things. You got a lot of pentacle energy here, so one thing that we're missing here, Scorpio, is there's like pretty much no cups energy. 0 cups energy, no water energy, and you're a water sign. Oh, except the 4 of cups. But one has to ask, are you drowning out emotion for the sake of productivity? I don't know. But that's what I got for you, Scorpio. So it does seem that you're going to go through some rough patches, coming up here. But, it's going to vary for a lot of you, and I don't think it's going to be specific. It's not going to be like a whopper, where it's going to basically shell shock you or nothing like that. There's no towers here. So I think you are going to basically get through it. But there is some degree of, like, overthinking here. So I think, and like I said, the advice is really you need to basically look. One, understand the universe is coming in for you. What you've been manifesting is coming for you, but you need to look out for it. Okay? And just understand that you probably need to take a look. Okay? Take a look and get some clarity on what you're not seeing within yourself. Okay? Is it normal to basically be perfect? Is it normal to basically always do things the right way? I'm not talking about that rebellious side. Sometimes you need that to kind of spark life a little bit. Be a little devious. Yeah. And I know a lot of you are like, oh my God, why? What? Because, there's yin and yang for a reason. There's positive, negative. You can't just be positive all the time. That's not life. It's not living life. There's a reason why people get excited when they go and party and go and get drunk and do all that kind of stuff, because it's balancing out the yin and the yang. You're doing the good and you're doing the bad. We have both, but that's what makes life interesting. If you're always continuously trying to be one particular thing for the rest of your life, you just go down in it. And you find these people that have $1 million homes, that have these good jobs and everything like that, yet they're miserably depressed. And you're like, how? Well, that's how. Because they're trying to basically do the right thing, do everything perfect the whole time, and live to almost a quota on what's expected of them. And it's like, they just reach a breaking point where it's like, fuck this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. So, I don't know. And I think there is, to some extent, like a tone of rebellious nature in you for a lot of you Scorpios out there. And I think that you do get bored easily. But at the same time, I think there's also some self-doubt for some of you, whether or not you can make this push forward. And a lot of you, like I said, you have to figure that out for yourself. Tarot doesn't tell you that. I don't know you. I read cards here. So it's whatever it is for you. So but you do have a lot of focus into something here. And I think there is, like I said, an overemphasis of conservative kind of values here, which is not bad. It's not. But, you kind of have to make sure there's excitement and fun in your life too. And for those of you who have probably been overindulging in your bad side, then reverse it. And you need some more balance in your life, right? So that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely subscribe if you want more. Obviously, stay tuned for more content coming up here. We'll do bi-weekly reads. We'll have the person on your mind, the weekly forecast that I just put out, so check that out too. If you'd like to donate to the channel, like I said, please do. That would be very, very helpful. And I hope you enjoyed this reading, Scorpio. And good luck to you in your next 2 weeks. Thank you.